The most important tool any homeowner has in their toolbox is a tape measure, but there are so many features inside this simple device that almost every homeowner is unaware of, or worse, you may be using it incorrectly. Now, if you get the wrong readings, that means either your furniture won't fit, or you could potentially ruin your project. So I'm going to show you 5 of the best tricks that I've learned over the years that are really designed for a homeowner to get the most you can out of a device you likely already own. If you've ever noticed when you extend it, this little tab at the end is almost always loose. And unfortunately, there's a number of videos out there in places like TikTok telling people to simply hammer the end of this, and that supposedly will give you more accurate results. But nothing could be further from the truth. The end of your tape measure is loose for a reason. When you're making measurements, they can be either inside or outside measurements. An outside measurement is where you're going to put your tape on the end of a piece of material and then pull it to the opposite side. But of course, you can use your tape measure a different way to make an inside measurement. That's where you're going to be measuring inside an area where you can't put the clip over the edge. So this brilliant simplicity in engineering is the fact that the clip can move. The amount of movement in this clip is precisely the same size as the clip itself. By moving just a little bit, that first inch in your tape measure gets automatically adjusted. Let's take a look at this in action, and I think you will be amazed. We'll start with a simple outside measurement. Now you can see here that it's just under 18 inches by about 1/8 of an inch. But now what if this was just an inside measurement? What would the result be? Here I've got this block placed against the same piece of plywood, and let's measure it. And we're getting still the exact measurement of just under 18 inches. The reason this works is because your clip automatically moves. Keep in mind these holes also can wear down over time. So a tape measure that's say 40 years old may actually be less accurate. If you want to keep your tape measure in perfect condition, it's a good idea to not just simply allow it to slam into itself. Each time that happens, the clip is wearing down on those pins just a little bit. You'll see that a number of pros kind of catch it as it goes in just to prevent that slamming from happening. You've got a built-in marking device. Most people look at it, you don't see a pencil or anything. The end of this clip is actually serrated or at least made in such a way that you can use this to make simple markings. Now this isn't going to be perfect for fine woodworking, but for an average homeowner, say cutting a piece of wood that you need to mark without a pencil, watch how easy this works. If you want to mark it using your tape measure, you'll make one change. Simply flip the tape measure around because you're going to want to use that clip to make the mark. When we reach our measurement, we simply use this as kind of a blunt knife, and it can easily mark wood. But an even better way to make marks is to simply use your pencil along with your tape measure. Hold on to your pencil and brace it against the tape measure. Now I can simply slide the tape measure across the board while I'm holding the pencil, and I get a really usable mark. This may not be accurate for building a bridge, but for normal work that you'd be doing at home, this method can be ideal. And you can take this one step further. You can also make circular cuts. You can either use the corner of your board or a nail, or you could simply hold the opposite end, and you can simply make the arc that you want. And this is such a useful thing if you're trying to make a curved cut. The same method can be used to cut something like drywall or ceiling tiles, and this is again a very easy way to use the same tool that you already own. Another built-in feature on almost every tape measure is again inside the clip. You'll notice there's a small slot here, and many people think it's just to save metal. But in fact, this is so that you can hold on to something, and this is perfect if you're working by yourself. Whether it's a screw or a nail that you drive in, now lock the end of that clip right into the nail or the screw, and you've got something else to hold on to while you're making your measurement. One of the biggest misconceptions about tape measures is why they aren't flat. You'll notice when you look at the edge of it, they're actually kind of rounded, and this is unusual because you would think flat would give you more accurate results. The slight curve adds some rigidity to the tape. Now, oftentimes with the tape measure, you are going to be pulling it out, extending it. If this was simply flat, it would collapse so much easier. Here I've got this one out to 8 feet, and it's not a problem at all staying extended. But compare that to this little Stanley. Now I love this thing, it's super handy, but this tape is in fact flat. It's just too small to get any curve in it. Even before I get to 2 feet, it's already falling down on itself. And while this is great for smaller projects, you're going to want something with a bit of a curve to it if you're going to be doing anything larger than say 5 or 10 feet. Another super important trick with every tape measure is using it on an inside measurement correctly. Now many people are going to try to make a measurement and just simply bend the tape around. Now that's okay if it's kind of rough measurement, but if you want to get the most accuracy, don't bend that tape at all. Simply slide your tape from edge to edge. Now at this point, you want to make a mark or a note about the measurement that you're getting here. Now I know you're thinking you didn't get the entire measurement. That's because you need to add in the width of the tape measure. But what is that measurement? Well, fortunately, every tape measure manufacturer prints the size of the tape measure right on the back. Now simply take that first measurement, add in this amount on the back, and you'll get the exact measurement without bending that tape and getting inaccuracies.